a delicious poison. An intoxicating, overwhelming poison. Yowie wowie! Let me talk to you. What's going on, everybody? How are you today? It is a wonderful Monday, and you can see we've got a packed house, not only of people here, which is awesome, but we've got a packed house of stuff that we are going to go over on this show. We are going to do our best. It's definitely going to be Abby's overtime, regardless of any way we look at it today. There's no way we can come under. But we have a bunch of guests. So let me introduce everybody first, and you probably know all the faces already. But to this, well, I'm going to do this a Hollywood Square style. The center square on your screen is, of course, Jodie Gilly. If you don't know her by now, you haven't been watching. So what's up, Jodie? How are you?
I'm doing really well. How are you guys doing?
Doing very well.
Very well.
Good.
To Jodie's right in the center middle square is Nicole. Of course, Nicole was with us last week as well and joining again for this show, which is going to be a very, very, very big show today. So how are you, Nicole?
Doing well. Thank you for having me, of course.
Absolutely.
Always have fun talking about these series with you guys. Always.
Awesome. Well, we're glad to have you. On the left bottom row, we have got Hanzo joining us today. What's going on, Hanzo? How are you?
I'm good. I'm very good. I'm excited to talk about this guy behind me.
Oh yes. I've got somebody peeking out from behind me there as well. Yes. Awesome. Thank you for coming, Hanzo. We appreciate it. And of course, to the right. Now you may not recognize him tonight because he looks very, very different and very, very much younger. But that is Dom. Dom is here with us tonight. Of course, Dom. How are you? Hope you're well, man.
Really good, man. Really good. Yeah, I'm excited to be here. There is a lot to talk about. Thank you guys for joining us, and thank you guys for having me.
Absolutely. Okay. All right. So the way we're going to go with this, so you guys all know, of course, Jodie's going to start off with some Caleb's Corner. She's going to talk about her trip that she went on to the show. So that will be first up. We're going to talk a little bit about some of the older stuff that happened last week. So a little bit about the Taker and Bray thing. Little bit about the interview with Bray that Ryan Satin did, and then a little bit about SmackDown, and then we're gonna spend most of our time talking about the Pitch Black match. That's where we're gonna have most of the stuff come out. So that's what we're gonna do. Let me look at the chat real quick and see. There's a ton of people out there. So all I'm gonna do is just say welcome to everyone. I see some members out there. Jeremy Dunderman is here. Thank you for being a member of the channel. Anthony Slade as well. Thank you for being a member. Jason Peace. So all of our members that are out there, thank you for being members, and thank you all for joining us tonight. This is going to be a very, very big episode of Abby's Window because this is the first one we've had that he's done a match in almost 2 years. So think about that for a minute and just consider it.
Yeah, I was going to say, let that sink in for a second.
And I've got to say thank you personally to Jodie, to Jeff, to Dom, for all of you guys who've done this when there was nothing going on. That is a very, very difficult thing to do, and keep people interested in coming out when there is nothing happening with Bray Wyatt. So big shout out to them because they kept this thing going for so long. So yeah, absolutely. It's amazing to me.
I'm not crying. It's my allergies.
I'm not crying. You were crying.
I gotta give this girl a hug. You need a big hug.
But yeah, they did a phenomenal job. Just a fantastic job. And by the way, Jeff is making his return. This coming Thursday, Jeff will be back for our show. So I'm very excited about that. Jeff's ready to come back, and that's great news. So awesome. Jeff, thanks you all for your thoughts, your prayers, everything. He's doing better, and he's anxious to come back. So it'll be awesome to see Jeff back as well. And back here at Abby's where he belongs. I'm just a substitute teacher. So back where he belongs on Abby's Window next week. So that's awesome. Thank you for the donation, Jason Peace. You're really ill at the moment. I'm sorry to hear that, Jason. I hope you get better soon.
Better.
Absolutely. Thoughts and prayers for you. Okay. Can't say hello to everyone in the chat because it'll take us 15 minutes that we just don't have. So again, hello to all of you. Again, if you're new to the channel, make sure you subscribe, make sure you like the video tonight, and make sure you hit the notification bell to be notified about when we have future content. Okay. Jodie, we're going to start off with you and Caleb's Corner. I know you took a little trip on a jet plane to New Jersey. So we're going to start here and go right ahead and tell us all about it.
Oh my goodness. So this trip kind of came out of the blue. We had known about the show, and my friend Karen, we kind of both sent each other the message at the same time, and we were like, oh, why don't we go? And she ended up buying the concert tickets for my Christmas present, and we just decided, seize the moment, we're gonna go. And so yes, it was also the same day as their new album release. They remastered Bat Out of Hell, and it's called Paradise Found. So make sure you go check that out on Apple Music or wherever you stream music. They do a fantastic job. So this was kind of like a joint thing. They were celebrating the album and first show of the year for them. So that's super, super exciting. Really, really happy for them. So yeah, we flew out to Atlantic City and stayed in the same hotel the venue was at, did some gambling, just kind of hung out and had a really, really good time. And the concert was phenomenal, as it usually is. And obviously the pictures are for Caleb's Corner because it's Caleb's Corner, but the whole band was phenomenal. And they did such a great job, as they always do. Caleb was really, really funny. He was a little bit more like, I don't know, hyper a little bit. And he did some really, really funny stuff during the show, and it was absolutely superb. So that, the show was over, and then went out back into the casino and actually got to meet a lot of people, the whole rest of the band, and actually a lot of the crew. But obviously, like I said, this is Caleb's Corner. So did get to see Caleb, which was awesome. Sweet as ever. And, very gracious. The whole band is very gracious with their time, and I know they're busy, and it's very much appreciated. So I did post videos from the concert on, put them all together and put them on my Twitter. So if you'd like to go check out videos from the show, go check that out, because the show is just phenomenal. That picture on the right where the logo is made me laugh, because at some point during the show, I think it was early on, he lost his belt. Like, just his belt got completely destroyed. And he made a funny comment about having to pull his pants up more, and it was just funny. Like I said, he was just, I don't know, he was on a different level. He was really, really funny. And I enjoyed it. He's an awesome guy, and I really, really enjoyed it. I did send a video to Dom, because there was a point in the show that, again, was just another one of those funny moments. He decided, he was going to get on his knees and actually rip his entire shirt open.
Oh, hey now.
Yeah.
There are moments like at different shows that he'll like unbutton a couple, like the top button or something. But he just full on ripped it all the way open, and then did some push-ups, and it was just really funny. And yeah, enjoyed that. I did appreciate the eye candy. So thank you.
I think if I'm not mistaken, if I remember like watching old videos and stuff from Meatloaf when they used to, because I think he did a lot of that kind of stuff too. Meatloaf, it was a very unique performer, and very often he would do stuff with, he'd wear almost look like a pirate shirt with that kind of pirate collar, and he'd always have the shirt almost unbuttoned down to his belly button. But he tended to do a lot of that stuff. So yeah, you know, it must be fun doing stuff like that. You know, when you're doing a tribute band, I've gone to see tribute bands in my life. I'm a big Kiss fan.
But the funny thing is, it's not a tribute.
Well,
band.
they're not. Yeah, they're not technically anymore. That's Meatloaf's band, right? Yeah, that's that. Yeah, that's technically not. So it's almost like Queen when the band was going around with Adam Lambert. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. So that's true. So when you're doing that, it's almost like the lead singer kind of channels vibes from the singer who used to be there, I guess.
And Caleb knew him, so and he, Meatloaf kind of passed the torch onto Caleb. I love that picture on the left because it looks like he's pointing at a WrestleMania sign.
Yeah, it does.
Yeah, that's cool.
But the thing I love about Caleb so much is that he's always just really genuine, and that's really rare. So every time I take a picture with him, he's always smiling and seems to, just like I said, just be really genuinely happy and just be a genuine nice person. So make sure you go check him out. Check out the videos that I took from the show, and we'll have more Caleb's Corner for you next week.
There you go. Yeah, check out Jodie's Twitter. Again, she would have loved to put them up there. YouTube is stingy, and they don't like stuff like that. So yeah, I got nailed for doing something on my '80s channel. Put up a part of a video, and it was
and I know they have their own. The band has
ridiculous.
Their own social media, and I don't want to step on their toes.
Yeah, it's a shame, but unfortunately, even when you go to any live event like that, when I went to Raw, I was going to share videos on Insiders, and I'm like, ooh. Yeah, no, I can't. So, okay. All right. Well, there you go. So that is Caleb's Corner for this week. So thank you for doing that, Jodie. And all right, we are off. We are going to now start. We're going to go back. All right. So let's take you into the Wayback Machine for a quick couple of minutes here. And we are going to go back, and we're going to go back to last Monday. So last Monday's Raw 30, and we got this.
The reunion.
What a moment. Jodie was texting me. I had the same exact thought when she texted me because all I could think of, I was on the edge of my seat. And that doesn't happen to me often. I was on the edge of my seat when I saw Undertaker in the ring with LA Knight. And I'm like, something's going to happen. Something's going to happen. And I'm on the edge of my seat. And all of a sudden you hear Bray's music. I'm like, oh my God. And then LA Knight goes down the ramp. And then Bray gets him to go back into the ring. We all saw what happened, right? Taker grabs him, throws him to Bray, and does the Sister Abigail. And then there is this. This interaction was phenomenal. I was like, oh my. And then Jodie right away. And it was like the thought crossed my mind. I get a text from Jodie saying, he passed the torch, didn't he? And I'm like, yes, he did. Yes, he did. Because listen, if you didn't know that at the beginning, because there were some people out there saying, is he saying let's wrestle, let's meet up at Mania, like all that stuff was going around. If you didn't know that, then you saw this afterwards and how emotional he got. He almost looked like when he got away, like he didn't know what to do.
It took his breath away for a second.
Yes, it did. And so you saw that happen, and it was, I honestly think, and now they've asked him in 2 press conferences, the interview with Ryan Satin, the after conference about this. Everyone wants to know what he said, and Bray said, I will take it to my grave. It's not for anyone but me. I'm not going to tell anyone what it is. Oh yeah, absolutely.
100%.
Absolutely. So we're going to go round table. We'll start with Jodie, of course, and we'll go through the squares. Jodie, what did you, I know your initial thoughts, and just tell everybody, what did you think this meant to Bray Wyatt?
I'm going to be the first one that's going to be a little bit inappropriate here and just say, I think the entire WWE universe just collectively orgasmed all at the same time.
That's a good description. Okay. Yeah.
That was way left field. Nobody was expecting that.
I mean,
out of nowhere, Jodie.
I mean, that was the thought that ran through my head. Like, how many people
Enzo's getting a little hot.
She pulled a Randy Orton out of nowhere.
Out of nowhere. I mean, I wanted to
You're not
channel
wrong.
my inner John Cena and say the audience just went from 6 to midnight. I mean, it was a jaw-dropping moment. Everybody, everybody was waiting for that moment for so long, and just wanted that. It was a big nod to the fans too, because everybody knew the fans wanted that interaction, and to be able to literally pass the torch of LA Knight and it be a literal passing, it was amazing.
Yes. And I can tell you guys all this. If you're new to this show and you haven't been with us for the whole time, I can tell you that in the very beginning stages of this show, Jodie, myself, Jeff, talked so much about when is Undertaker going to pass the torch to Bray? When is that moment going to happen? We've been talking about this since this show started. And to see that happen was on a Raw 30, which I don't think too many people expected it. I know the dirt sheets had it. Taker's there. They kind of knew that. Nobody really expected this to happen, especially on this show. And I think it was, like Jodie said, I mean, absolutely amazing. So, Nicole, what are your thoughts on the Taker thing?
Undertaker always saw potential in Bray. Even back when he fought him at WrestleMania 31, he even said back then, protect this man at all costs, like take care of him. And unfortunately, unfortunately that wasn't the case, but this made up for it. This moment like this for Undertaker to literally tell, like when he was about to choke slam LA Knight himself and he sees Bray Wyatt showed up and he's like, oh, he's all yours. And it was what a moment. And for what he said, like Bray Wyatt said in the interview, it's nobody's ears but for Bray's. Nobody's ears but Bray's.
Yep.
It's only for him, God, and the devil. It's only they know. But even the drawing that I did a while ago, like I personally believe that he said something along the lines of this: "The darkness is yours now." I personally think he said something along the lines of that, but I could be wrong. Like it could be a whole different thing, but it must have been a magic moment.
Like everybody's gonna be speculating about this.
Yeah,
right. I mean, what have you said? Hey,
funny toilet paper.
Let's
all these memes that I'm seeing on Facebook, like guys, chill.
let's get a beer after the match, Bray, or after Raw. I mean,
it was a magic moment.
Can I validate your parking?
Yeah,
you could see that Bray almost looked like he wanted to tear up almost.
Yeah,
it was incredible.
That's what got me. Great stuff. Hanzo, what did you think about the big moment with Undertaker?
It was just one of those moments where I never thought I'd actually see it happen ever.
Yeah.
Because the whole Mania match on him years ago, I still feel that he should have broken the streak and not Reigns. Lesnar. It would have been perfect. But yeah. But when he's got him like that and Bray's looking at him, it's just like and then it was the perfect scene and when to speak in his ear. And we'll never know, and I'm happy about that because people will speculate for the rest of the time and no one will ever know.
Mm-hmm.
Like we could go to a convention 2 weeks and go, what did you say? You'd be like, you'll never know. But for me, easily the best moment of the last 30 years. Top 3 best moments.
Wow, that's saying something. Look, it's up there for me, and I've seen a lot of wrestling in my many years. It's up there for me because you don't get many moments like that. You don't get many moments where one passes the torch, and I get it. A lot of people are saying, "Well, but he passed the torch to Roman." Not like this, because Roman's not the same character. He may have passed the torch to him in the wrestler area, but not one horror character icon to another. I'll say this, and I'm going to go to Dom. No one can say now, no one can disrespect this man anymore. You get that from a guy who's a Mount Rushmore guy in wrestling, you can no longer disrespect this guy. Say what you will, whether you like the stuff he does or not, you can't disrespect him after that. Dom, what did you think about that?
Yeah, I'm going to echo a lot of you guys' points. This is probably one of my favorite moments in the history of Raw. And going up there with Mick winning or Mankind winning the world title, this was a beautiful moment. And I will say, because I have some potentially upsetting points to make about the Rumble match, but everything up to the Rumble match that last week was exceptionally done. I thought the Raw stuff was great. Obviously, we'll talk about the other stuff, but the Undertaker stuff it could not have been done better. That was beautiful, and I was so happy for this community that we all got to see that. For Bray fans everywhere, there was so much buzz, so much excitement around it. The passing of the torch, it was a beautiful moment. So I was just super happy for just myself as a fan, and for this community, and for everybody who was speculating what he said. There was some interesting theories, but it was a beautiful moment for sure.
It really was. I don't think I've ever saw anybody try to read lips on a screen more than I did during that time. Like, people were literally going back and pausing to see if they could see what he mouthed. But yeah, it was really, really a great moment. Yeah. Okay. All right. Haley, we will get to that. I'm going to leave your question right there. And thank you for the donation. Really appreciate that. I'm going to leave that right on the screen because we will get to that when we get to that point of the show. So we'll leave that right there. All right. Next up, we got, this was kind of a surprise. Bray does not do much of this kind of stuff at all. So when we heard that he was going to do a sit-down interview with Ryan Satin, of course, from Fox Sports, it was pretty big. I know C announced it on his channel, and I'm like, wow. And it was so cool. I have to tell you guys, I was at work. And I put my AirPods in. I have AirPods. I don't think I've used them more than 3 times in my life. I had my AirPod in strictly because I knew I was going to listen to this while I was working. So I go and hide over by my little cubicle, my Verizon cubicle in Best Buy, and I'm sitting there and I'm praying, like, don't bug me. Don't bug me. Don't come over. I don't want any customers walking over to me. And I did get to listen to a good amount of it. Luckily, we were dead that day. But I will tell you, you guys, all of you, Dom, of course, Jodie, Hanzo was there. Nicole, I don't know if you were in the chat for that. Everybody,
I was.
Oh my gosh, so many of you guys were in that chat. It was almost like our community, like, and some people at C's community were hanging out in that chat, which was amazing. Like, that was unbelievable. And the stuff that we got from that, Bray really opened up. Talked about some things, some of the key things, I think. Number one was the thing about Alexa Bliss and what he said about her and how he said he loved her. And he said, but she was the best part of that, which really stuck with me because I started to think, did he not kind of like that way that storyline went? And a lot of people assume that, and especially the way it ended at Mania. So did he kind of not like that? But and then to follow that up on the presser from last night, he said that there will be something. So he gave Alexa fans a lot of hope last night, said there will be something down the road. I just can't say when. So yeah, a lot of good stuff there, but and just some amazing things about the character. Of course, the Bray character with the Hawaiian shirt, cult leader Bray saying that he would never feel right doing that because of Brody's being gone. And then also he said that the Fiend was dead. The Fiend died at WrestleMania to him, right? So a lot of different things, and people went ballistic when they heard that. Oh no, people freaked out. So Jodie, what's your biggest takeaway from this interview with Bray and Ryan Satin?
I think he was in character.
Okay.
Personally,
you're not.
I do think obviously there's some truth to the things that he was saying about, can't be Hawaiian shirt Bray anymore because that he felt like that would be disrespecting Brody. I understand. I think that was very genuine. But I think this is like kind of in-ring Bray that we're seeing. I definitely think he's in character. The Fiend is dead thing, and this is why I think he's in character. I think to this version of Bray that he's portraying in this interview, he is dead.
Okay. So Jodie, now do you think, being in character, are you thinking he's the Wyndham character, the one who came out and talked like truth to everybody? Oh, okay.
Yep.
Okay.
And I
Nicole?
think that version of him believes the Fiend is dead. And I hate going back to Split again, but we watched it again last night.
I figured you did when you texted me. I love that movie.
The doctor was saying these different personalities, can have completely different medical needs, completely different personalities.
Existences almost, yeah.
Like they believe completely different things.
Mm-hmm.
So, that interview, him saying the Fiend is dead, I think that character believes he's dead.
Okay. Nicole, how about you?
Oh, I do agree with Jodie in a way that, see, with Bray Wyatt, you can't even tell if he's in character or not. You know what I'm saying? Because even when the many times I met him, he always looked like he was. He was always very sweet, always a genuine person, but he just was like the same, you know what I'm saying? The same like you'd see on TV, but he, like, not Sister Abigail-ing everybody, you know what I'm saying? Like he's you don't know, like it's kind of like, he kind of reminds me of the Riddler in a way, like you don't know what goes on in his head, and he leaves clues here and there. So I do think that the interview was very good. And him, when he talked about being the Hawaiian shirt of Bray, was very touching, because I know how much Brody meant to him. Can imagine, it's not him not being, it's like not with the Wyatt family not being the same without Brody Lee, Luke Harper. It's true. It wouldn't be the same. But I guess with the Fiend, maybe this version of the Fiend may be gone, but we don't know about what happened the other night. Who that they didn't specify what that mask represented. It could be anybody.
Yeah.
Uncle Harper or the other version of this Fiend. Who knows?
Could be. Yep. I have a feeling we might come back to that. C Wrestling is in our chat. Hey, C, what's going on? He said I got swamped in that chat. There was legit 3 people there I didn't know. Yeah, C was in the chat as well. Yeah, it was really cool. So many people that C knew, so many people that we knew from the community. It was awesome.
I was literally sitting on my bed in the hotel room in Atlantic City.
Yeah, it was really, really cool. Really, really cool moment. We have another donation in there. We will get to you guys, I promise. Haley and Negan, we will get to you. Hanzo, what did you think of the interview? What was a takeaway you had from the interview?
I feel like the interview was very much done professionally by Ryan. First of all, he did a great job on it.
Yeah, absolutely.
But I still feel like it was very much in character, but like a little bit out of character.
Okay.
Like majority was like the whole Hawaiian shirt to Brody to John. That's definitely out of character, 100%. I can't see him ever being that version again, apart from cult leader, like in the leather jackets and whatever. That's fine, but that I can respect. But the Fiend being dead, I'm sorry. Like he's so popular to the point where, why would you bring the Funhouse back?
Mm-hmm.
Why would you?
Very good question.
Why would you do the QR code and the let me in? And like, I still think he's massively fishing. And like on Sunday,
he's catfishing us.
I still think that's him. The new version, that's definitely him. I just feel like, as with Jodie was saying, that's the version of the Fiend.
It's on the other side of the door.
Yeah, that's the version that's more unstoppable. And because when he obviously squashed LA Knight and took him down, I was like, and then when all the lights come back up, they stood up and the mask just ran back of his head. I was like, it's him. And then he turned around. I was like, oh, it's not him. I was like, it is him. And then he's, same as Joe said, kendo sticks, and like he's very much. I was like, oh yeah. And then I hope he comes back. But if he doesn't, I'm cool with it, because this new guy is pretty much just very sick.
Yeah.
So
yeah. I mean, he's impervious to pain. The Fiend was. He was unstoppable. The Fiend was, and he used the Fiend's finishing move, which was the mandible claw. So yeah, very, very true. Very, very true. Dom, what did you take from the Ryan Satin interview?
I think it was a beautiful piece of work on both sides. I think they both obviously thought about what they were going to say, what questions were going to be asked. I think, again, element of in-character work regarding the storyline and the lore, which I will preface my Rumble comments with. I love the lore of the character, and I think that was upheld here in the interview. But I think that there was also some personal notes, some lovely personal notes about, some diagnosis he might have received that he wasn't open about, that he obviously wasn't comfortable sharing.
Yeah.
And I thought that was really interesting, and it highlighted how some of the comments we talked about when he first came back about WWE handling certain mental health conditions in a certain way. Actually, Bray does have the experience, Bray does have the knowledge, and perhaps that is feeding into the promos and some of the work that he's doing. So I thought that was really interesting because without actually knowing what the diagnosis was, it was interesting because actually we were talking about, does Bray have any kind of neurodivergence, and obviously he is equipped to carefully manage how that is portrayed on the screen because he's obviously he has that lived experience. So I thought that was one of the most interesting things to come out of that he obviously has some things he's been dealing with, some things he's been working with, some things he's learned about himself, over the course of the last few years, and how that is obviously taking place on the screen, in some form, and that sort of story, that movie or that comic book that, that we may one day see. We may get some more insight into that. But that was, for me, was the biggest takeaway was the revealing of a potential diagnosis of and some mental health issues that was obviously been a part of this character and how we've seen it on screen.
That's a great point. And I think Ray, I think, gravitates to people that have similar, that have things that are going on. They're very gravitated to him because it just does seem, and he confirmed that he was going through things. How could you not? When you lose your best friend, you lose the best friend from college. I knew about that. He lost, of course, Brody Lee, and he lost someone else, which I didn't know about. That's a lot of loss.
One of his childhood friends.
Yeah, like that's a lot to go through.
It is.
In that amount of time, and to come out, I'm cool. That's a lot. And so I'd imagine that, that it just, that kind of stuff will tear anyone apart. Yeah, like you could tell how grateful he was, though. And he talked about the people who were seeing, and I know, like Jodie got to see him, Nicole got to see him, Jeff got to see him, Hanzo saw him overseas, C Wrestling saw him. You guys should, again, that's a message to you, because obviously, seeing you guys out there and him doing those things, those autograph sessions and pictures and stuff are probably a lot of the reason why he came back, which that's pretty amazing. And that's a testament to everybody out there that went to see him. So that's awesome. I absolutely love that. And to put a bookend on this, Ryan Satin did come out and say that Bray showed interest in doing another interview with him because so many people said it was not long enough. So he said he showed interest in doing another one, which would be longer. So look for that at some point in time, maybe after Mania, maybe something like that. But he did say that he was interested in doing another interview. So, okay. All right, let's move on here. We're going to go next to last SmackDown. Again, not spend a lot of time on this because this was a SmackDown right before the big match. But we did get this, and I'm telling you what, I hate LA Knight for doing this to me. I don't get swerved very easily. I did with this. You SOB, LA Knight.
For doing this.
You SOB. I heard that music. I'm doing the watch along with Jesse Callan, and I'm freaking out. I'm like, it's Cult Leader Bray. They're playing his music. I'm freaking out on the watch along. And then this SOB comes down out of the thing with that little teeny weeny lamp and the hat and the shirt. And I'm cursing him up and down. I'm like, I was hoping he was going to get destroyed after that, because I'm like, how could you do, especially after the comments that Bray just said on the interview where he said that he will never bring this character back.
Yeah, that goes and stuck out with me. I was like, no, he didn't.
He goes and does this. I'm like, man, you have got some big, on you for doing this stuff. he goes out to the ring, of course, and takes off the hat and the shirt, and he does his promo. And you know, he's talking out to the crowd and things like that. And then we get Bray again in that chair up on the stage, so kind of talking back at LA Knight. And everybody tried to figure out the shirt he was wearing. That's a new thing too. He had that shirt with the rabbit. This shirt, I recognize the hands on that picture. It is a painting called The Jester. And a couple from our chat or our community sent me the artist name. And so, yeah, it's interesting. And somebody actually sent me another painting that he did. And interestingly enough, that painting has puppets. There are like 4 or 5 puppets in that painting. So very, very interesting, the attire that Bray wears. But what did you guys all think? I'll start round table again, and we'll go through this quickly. What did you think, Jesse, of the big swerve by LA Knight and SmackDown prior to the Pitch Black match?
What an asshole.
You took the words right out of my mouth, girl.
Let me talk at you. Yeah.
You know what? I think that was another push that made Bray what he was the next day, because he did it after he said that he couldn't do it in the interview.
That's a good point. Yeah, that's a good point. I was shocked again. Like I was shocked that he said that, and then
I'm thankful that I actually didn't watch it live. I was at that concert, so I saw it the next day, and I kind of already knew. So if I'd have been watching that live, I would have, oh my goodness, I probably would have thrown something at my television.
Yeah, that was really bad. Let me go to, I'll mix it up a little bit. Let me go to Dom. The SmackDown prior, I caught everybody off guard. See, I have to make sure people are awake, so I'll do that from time to time.
That's cool.
Dom.
I appreciate it, man. I appreciate it. Yeah, I want to acknowledge, I know some people have said in the comments to acknowledge LA Knight, and I would like to acknowledge LA Knight's greatness in this feud, and I hope that LA Knight comes out of this, and whatever that was, at the Rumble, with a wonderful feud to expand his horizons, because he has been an absolute standout in this whole thing. LA Knight looks incredible. That him coming out, it swerved me, it swerved us all here, or a lot of us here, and LA looked, it was great. And I also loved the visual of Uncle Howdy. I loved that. I thought that was really cool. I love the stuff he's doing with his hands and all that. That was great. But for me, this segment was a perfect example of why LA Knight is so damn good and deserves to be in the, at the very least in the US title elimination chamber or something like that coming up. I don't know, but he deserves to be in a mid-card title picture off the back of this, because he was great all the time. This whole time, LA Knight has been absolutely outstanding, and probably will come out of this looking better than when he went in, which is great.
Yeah, absolutely. I totally agree. LA Knight is really starting to give me some vibes of, and honestly, this is a big compliment, but The Rock.
No, totally. 100%.
He'll take a promo and he'll turn it right around on the person who did the promo and just make it funny. And this is the kind of thing that The Rock would do. He'd come down and make fun of the other wrestler that he's wrestling stuff. He's a great talker. He's got a great imagination, great creative, and the fact that he did that, and it's like, and you want to hate him. Like every Bray fan at that moment when he did that was like, my God, come on, really? They hated him. So the Howdy thing, I love this too, because I kept saying, a lot of people were saying I said a ringmaster first. I don't think so anymore. I think what he is a puppet master. Mm-hmm. You can see the motions he makes with his fingers is like he's moving his puppets. Mm-hmm. When he's standing up above them. Remember the old, like you guys may be too young to know, but the puppeteers, back in my day when you would have a stage
Mhm.
show, they held the wooden things to
Yep.
move the puppets, and they
Mhm.
were always standing above the curtain. You couldn't see them, and they're moving the puppets. That's what I think he's doing. I don't know. Maybe, Bray said that this character, more than any, comes from his psyche, comes from his childhood. Maybe he got freaked out when he went to a circus or a puppet show and something terrified him. Listen, it happened to me. I went to a circus. I got terrified by the ringmaster. Clowns never bothered me.
Oh,
but
I
the
don't like
ring-
clowns.
I used to be
the
terrified of
terrified
clowns
of
when I was a kid.
clowns.
The ringmaster freaked me out. He was a tall, skinny dude with the hat and the jacket, and he looked like he was 200 years old. He was frail and thin and had that long beard, and I was like, he freaked me out, I think, more than anything. So I don't know, but yeah, I thought that was really cool. Go to Nicole. What did you think about the SmackDown prior?
It was a nice ending to before the Rumble. It definitely was, especially that Bray told LA Knight. Well, first let me start off with what that ass LA Knight did that almost made my
Right?
heart come out of my chest when I heard the Broken Out in Love song, and I'm like, I'm watching the live chat when you were hosting SmackDown, and I'm like, wait a minute, didn't he say he wasn't gonna? I'm like, then I'm like, wait a minute. Is LA Knight doing this? Is he trolling us all? And all of a sudden I see a guy with no beard.
Yep.
And it's him, LA Knight. I'm like, you son of a gun. I'm like, how dare you?
Yep.
But other than that, it was a good segment before the Rumble. And of course, what you said about Uncle Howdy being the puppet master, it kind of makes sense. He could be the one pulling the strings with the puppets from the funhouse.
Mhm.
Yep.
If it makes sense.
Yep.
that would be really interesting.
Mhm.
They're all his
that
puppets.
scene was good.
They're all his puppets. Like
All of them.
Bray and Alexa now are all. They're basically all puppets of his. So yeah, I think that he just signified that even more. You'd see the hand gestures when he walked out, but not as prominent as when he was on during that part of it. So Hanzo, what did you think about the SmackDown?
SmackDown was. I feel like it was a little filler before Royal Rumble. I don't think anything big was going to happen. I think like what's it called? When LA Knight come out and the whole Live in Fear and like I was like, hold on, whoa. The little £1 little light he's got, and obviously when he's ripped, I thought okay, maybe he's got permission to do that. And then I love all the glitches when it went all black and then he sit there in his chair going like that. I was like, this dude. And then he's still just laughing like LA Knight's like, you're gonna look up there, and there's how they going, look, Bray, like he's waving all that, and like he's sort of just putting his fingers and all that sort of stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And it was fun. It was fun. And then so went pitch black, no pun intended. And it was cool. It was a nice little filler. That was it.
Yeah. It was a good thing. It was like you said, it was a good little promo beforehand. Nothing really big. The biggest thing about that was probably the thing that LA Knight did. So I thought it was good, and I thought it got everybody prepped. All right, we're at the meat and potatoes now. We got past the salad, we got past the appetizer.
Can we start a petition to make a T-shirt for LA Knight that says "My lantern is massive"?
Jodie is on a roll tonight.
That's really funny. Yeah.
I love you.
That's really
amazing.
Funny. There you go. That's really good. All right. Well, we went in with expectations. So what is going to be exactly a pitch black match? I know for me, I was thinking lights out match, similar to what they had on NXT with Wendy Chu. I kind of thought the lights are going to go on, the lights are going to go off, the lights are going to go on. That's what I'm imagining. But then I'm like, okay, I don't know if they could pull that off in such a big arena with that many people. It'd be weird. It'd be confusing. So I did not have a clue what we were going to get here. Okay. So this is where we got the entrance. All right, so let's talk about the entrance. LA Knight, of course, came down, liked his music and stuff. I liked the LA Knight symbol on the board, came down to his music, got into the ring, and then, of course, the shattered music hits. The Fireflies come out in force, 50,000 of them there, and you just saw all of the cell phone lights lit up, reminding us of what we used to see in the arenas that were sold out in past Bray matches. And we see Bray Wyatt coming down. Now, the first thing you see when he was coming down, of course, holding the smoking lantern as usual, but you saw the black around the eyes. You saw a bit of a different look here. This wasn't the same old Bray that we used to see coming down with that lantern into the ring. Little more jovial when he did that before. Not now. The frown on the face,
he was serious.
the scowl on his face when he was coming down to the ring. And of course, the black, probably there because he knew eventually he was going to put a mask on, realistically, because you're blacking out the eyes, similar to Batman. When you're wearing a mask, you see Batman does that with his eyes. So probably why, but still
took one off.
You know, I had that thought too, that the black under his eyes, I was like, he's probably going to wear a mask tonight.
Yep. I think we all kind of caught that when we were seeing it first happen, but he looked pretty damn intense and pretty creepy on his way down to the ring.
I was a little frightened. I'm not going to lie. I was like, I would. And
the one thing I didn't notice at first, the puppets were on the ramp. Well, I
didn't see that either.
I didn't see it. It was incredible.
Yes, I had no idea that was the case. They pointed that out when we were doing the stream. I completely missed it. It's hard when you're doing a watch along to pay attention to everything. You're trying to watch the chat and look and see what people are saying, and then you miss stuff. I saw it the second time around. So what did you think when you first saw him? And I'll go to let me go to Hanzo. Hanzo, what did you think when you first saw him coming out of the on that huge long? I mean, my God, that entrance ramp was long. What did you think when you first saw him come out?
When he first came out, and it's just like I expected. Well, I don't know, because you can't expect anything of this guy. He's always unpredictable. When he's come out and holding a lantern and seeing that like the black eye paint, and then when you've seen Huskers, the pig on the ramp, I was like, oh, they're gonna do something here, and okay, and then you saw Abby. Then you saw Mummy Rambling. It was just, what I say is that the guy's detail to entrances is phenomenal.
Mm-hmm.
He never fails to disappoint with an entrance. Even at one point, he stacked it a little bit on the ramp. He looked up, but he kept in character. He didn't go, oh crap, but he kept looking at the camera. And it's just, the guy gives off horror killer vibes, and I love it.
Yes.
Oh yeah.
Yes, absolutely. Stern face, no smile, no interaction with the crowd whatsoever. Yes, absolutely. Let me go to Dom. Dom, what did you think of the entrance when he was first coming down to the theme song?
This was my favorite bit of the whole thing. His entrance was great. He looked fantastic. I thought I was really excited for this entrance. Again, the aesthetic of this. The entrance at least was brilliant. I was super hyped. I didn't notice the puppets until I saw some fan footage today, actually, and I thought that was a really cool detail. But again, looking a lot more intense, a lot darker. Really nice detail. Obviously, which and obviously there was some other things that people might have noticed in terms of which obviously played into the actual start of the match. It kind of made more sense when the neon lights came on. But I thought, visually the entrance was really, really good and really well done.
Yes, Jodie, when you first saw him, what was going through your mind?
Oh, I'm so glad that I had landed and was off the plane and was actually able to watch it. But yeah, the first thing I actually thought, I didn't connect the two about him wearing a mask later. I kind of thought he would. But for me, with the black eye makeup, me and Chris couldn't help but make the connection. It looks like, he was wearing the Fiend mask and he took it off. So, tried to make that connection between, or, maybe he just took a mask off. He's coming out without a mask on.
Yeah.
But, Bray has such an amazing eye for detail. And I didn't catch the puppets at first until I went back and watched it again. And, like I said, just that eye for detail. He's the best in the business. And it was a great entrance.
Absolutely. I mean, he's got another big entrance coming up for Mania, so let's see if he could top that one. I'm sure he probably can. Rumors already out there saying Code Orange is going to play him in, which would be absolutely amazing. So the Batman thing I got from this last Batman movie, the Batman with Robert Pattinson, because he was the only one who showed when he took that mask off that he had the eye black on his eyes still after he took the mask off. So that's kind of where I got that from. But yeah, really, really well done. And then you could see part of this too. Nicole, any other thoughts about the entrance?
The entrance was phenomenal. Especially the song Shatter is, I've been listening to it all morning. It's just such a good song, and everyone can relate to the lyrics.
Yep.
Like if you listen to the lyrics, like it's beautiful. And when Bray came down the aisle, and it was just mind blowing. And I just couldn't. When I saw him with the black on his eyes, I thought to myself, I was telling my boyfriend because we were watching it, I was like, I have a feeling he's going to be wearing a mask either the end of the match or like somewhere during this match, somewhere. Because it's going to be something. It's going to be something wild. I have a feeling. But long and behold, when the match started, it was unexpected.
Yes. Chat, I have seen all of your comments and thank you for all. I hope you're all entertaining yourselves out there. I'm very sorry I can't get to all these comments that you're all making. We do see you. I want you to know that Puppets at the entrance and then at the top of the platform at the very end. Alicia says it's her ringtone. Jesse Callan says she's good. Monster truck for Bray. Everybody's saying because that was a rumor a couple of years ago. I didn't catch the Puppets either. Horror WWE Royal Rumble. James Chadwick is talking in there. Everybody's there. So thank you for being there. I want to let you know we are seeing you. It's just that we have so much stuff. Okay, let's get to the aesthetics of this match. Because again, like I said before, we did not know what to expect. What were they going to do? So they went with basically blue lights and neon. Okay. Now remember, the one thing you all have to remember, this is a promotion for a soda. Okay. Think about that. Put that in the back of your mind. This was sponsored by Mountain Dew Pitch Black. Okay. None of the other matches were sponsored by that. None of the show itself wasn't sponsored by that. This match was. Okay. So keep that in mind because money talks. And a lot of time when a sponsor sponsors something, you kind of have to do things the way they want you to. So if they had anything to do with this, maybe they were the ones that wanted the neon. You could see the aesthetic, and the background does look purple. Does it not? It looks like their soda. Their soda is purple. So keep that in mind. Okay, that's the first thing. But the aesthetics of the match, again, you had the purple, the black light. These are Corey Graves. Talk about the black light. How great was McAfee too, and McAfee's reaction?
Oh, so happy!
It was so cool to have him back.
Yes.
But this, and of course, I want to know how the hell long it took these people to get this paint on, because that is not a quick job. You have to put this fluorescent stuff on you and do almost like airbrushing basically on your body to get that on there. That is not simple. That was probably a few hour, at least that could have been a 3-4 hour process for people to get that on them. And LA Knight, of course, wearing fluorescent tights. The ring ropes you can see were luminescent. They were that green, they glow in the dark basically. So different ring ropes on there. So again, this was completely different than anything I've ever seen in my 44 years watching wrestling. I have never seen anything like this. So let's just get that out of the way first, because the stuff with Mountain Dew, you do have to keep that in your mind. I know that this is a point of contention. A lot of people did not like this. They didn't like the setup of it. They didn't like the fluorescent. When he went over to the announce table, when they spilled all that green, we were calling them green dots. When the green dots went flying all over the place and on the floor, it looked almost kind of like liquid, but it was fluorescent. When all that stuff happened, there were people that didn't like it. Okay. But like I said, just keep in mind that, that this probably had something to do with the company that was sponsoring this match as well. Here you can see Bray's red contacts. And
Glow in the
this
dark red contacts.
Yes. And this is an even better picture of him. And you can see, and this is going to tie into something segue for what Jodie's going to talk about a little bit. The beard looks quite familiar. Quite familiar. And then you can prominently see the VI, which is Roman numeral for 6. 6 on his head. We all know the Wyatt 6, the thing that he's named himself that on Twitter. Many people were saying it looked a lot like the Predator. A lot of people saying you looked like the Predator. The tribal stuff on his face. People going back to that drawing that he showed 2 years ago that almost looked like Darth Maulish with the red and the black lines and stuff like that, bringing that back up. Jesse Callan did an art rendition of that. So a lot of people going back to that. Just so many things at play here. And he had fangs, which I didn't even notice. Until I went back and watched the second time. Had no clue, but he had fangs as well. So let's talk about this. What did you think? I want all your opinions on what you thought of the aesthetics of this match. Were they what you expected, up to your expectations? Were they completely off the wall? Were you a little bit disappointed in what it was? I want to hear from all of you. So let me start with Jodie. Jodie, what did you think of the overall look of this? What did you think of Bray's look when he first came out? Was this what you expected when you heard about this pitch black match?
Definitely not what I expected. But I think the aesthetics were so different that I can understand why it rubbed some people the wrong way.
Okay.
Me personally, as a Bray fan and, a lighting nerd, I loved it because I have that background and that detail that went into the body paint and the level of detail that went into just lighting this match, and having things look different in the match and being able to wrestle in this kind of lighting. I enjoyed it. I liked the glow in the dark confetti, and it, for me as a Bray fan, obviously I have theories about who this is.
Okay. Which we will get to.
But I appreciate the level of detail that went into all the aesthetics.
There you go. All right, Dom, I'm going to go to you. Because I think you might have a little bit of a different opinion on this, so I want to hear it, because I know Dom. This is what I love about having Dom on the show, because sometimes Dom is, we've got our stuff. Sometimes Dom has a little bit of a different look to things. So I want to hear what did you think of this? Is this what you expected? And again, did it kind of leave you a little flat? Did you enjoy it? Like, what are your thoughts on the aesthetics?
Yeah, thank you, man. I see a lot of people in the comments making observations. The aesthetic, when this happened, this visual, I was like, this is cool. This is good. All right. But the match itself, and I'm aware it was cut short because of Hardy and other things, but the match was absolutely atrocious. I was so disappointed in the time they were given. I was disappointed in the match quality itself, more specifically the end, more specifically the stuff at the end. It's the Royal Rumble. It's one of the bigger pay-per-views of the year. There needs to be some exposure. I've said this for a long time. There needs to be a comic book. There needs to be a book. There needs to be a full-length Bray Wyatt movie to get this lore across to us and to really flesh it out. A short 5-minute match, with exception to, obviously we are like hardcore, quote unquote, Bray fans. We dig it. We're going to find something to love. Hell, again, I love the entrance. I love that initial few seconds. We are going to find something to love, but the wider audience, man, I can understand why they hated this. And Joe, I absolutely get what you're saying. It's a sponsored match, money talks, but they could have handled it better. I know there was some comments, EJ Movement. I thought they could have put it in spotlights. The colors on the eyes, very, very difficult for people, to kind of look at for an extended period of time. again, I appreciate Bray's, sort of ideas, and I appreciate the effort, like Jodie said, that people went into to pull this together. But 5 minutes, and I know that's not necessarily beyond their control. I will say the same for the Alexa and Bianca match. Garbage, terribly handled. They should have been given more time. I know there wasn't. I do believe the right amount of time was given to Sami and Roman later on. That was beautifully done, by the way. But this match was not what it should have been for Bray's first match back in a couple of years. And I'm really sorry, guys. I don't mean to be a downer. I 100% see what everybody's saying. I 100% see that some people are going to like it, some people aren't. But you guys know I'm a fan. I was so disappointed, more for the fact that I knew once this happened, I knew once it was 5 minutes, and I knew once why is Uncle Howdy diving off the top of the sorry, I know we're not there yet, but this needs it works in a movie, and it works in a comic book, and it works in those forms of media where there are episodes, but in a short amount of time. People that aren't us, people that aren't the insiders, and people that aren't watching this, who are going to love it and going to find something to love, they need to get it too. They need to get it, and they need to follow it so that we can we can have this conversation and these conversations with people that don't follow wrestling. The Sami and Roman thing, and I'll finish my point. The Sami and Roman thing, everybody gets that. It's fucking heart wrenching. Yeah, everybody gets that stuff. But seeing a guy in a mask dive off the top of a thing into flames when he's supposed to be the enemy, right? That's what we're led to believe. But they were suddenly working together. It's confusing, and I I just think it should be a comic book or it should be a movie because ain't nobody got time for this. The wider audience. I've always said this. Like, we can sit here and we love it, and you guys love it. You tune in every week to this show, and it's awesome. But like, it needs to work on a wider level. And going back to the match, 5 minutes is too short, way too short, and disrespectful of Bray Wyatt, and disrespectful of what this match could have been to give it 5 minutes in favor of. And I'll admit that Hardy tune is quite a banger, but they should have should have done something else with it because he needed more time. And the Alexa Bianca match was a fucking travesty. I'm so like I say, I'm not disappointed in them. I'm disappointed for them. Does that make sense? I'm disappointed for them, and I'm disappointed in the fact that Uncle Howdy dove off the top of the stage. What is that doing? What does that represent? And how is somebody who isn't on the insiders and isn't a fan and doesn't unpick the law, how are they supposed to get it? Because we can say we get it and that's enough, and that is enough for us, right? It is enough for us because we love it, right? But it's not enough for the rest of the world who need to get it. My final point is I felt bad for them. I wasn't disappointed in them. I was disappointed that it was that both those matches that involved the law of Bray Wyatt were cut short so terribly, and I was just really disappointed in it on the whole. Like, I was so excited for his first match back, man. Like, I really wanted it to be good, and it just didn't showcase Bray enough, and it didn't showcase something like the Fiend. I get what you guys are saying, that it's the new Fiend, but like, didn't really get much of the detail on the mask, and I know that's a lighting problem, but like, I want more exposition of this very quickly, because not just, I'm okay waiting, right? I'm all right waiting, but the wider world needs to get it, and needs to get it quickly. Do you know what I mean? For it to translate, that's what I'm saying. All right, that's. I could go longer, but like, I know this isn't the place, but we can maybe talk off screen. But I love you guys, and I love this podcast. I love everybody here, but that match to me was it was the second worst match on the card. The worst match was the Alexa Bianca stuff, man. And this should be a comic book and a movie, not a segment on a pay-per-view. I think. My explanation was long. There you go, Mr. My explanation was longer than the match. There you go. There you
It's
go.
all good. It's all good. I listen. You make great points. I didn't know why it was so short. I was puzzled when we were doing the watch along when it ended. I do remember seeing that, like, Sister Abigail. It's over. So I was puzzled by that. I don't know exactly why. There's a lot of people behind the scenes that are saying they tried protecting Bray for two reasons. One, because of the broken middle finger, because you can't really grab, I guess, with that taped up well. The other, they said, was the knee. Now, Jodie noticed the knee where he's wearing a brace. So I don't know if there's something going on there. And also because he hadn't wrestled in over 2 years, other than the Jinder Mahal match. So, and then that's where he got the broken finger. So maybe, I don't know. We won't know that. No one will know that or why. Now the Howdy thing, another really good point. It puzzled me a little bit too. If he's the one who, now the only thing I could say to that is, and this again, this goes back to the lore, and you kind of really have to think about this, but if he's the puppet master, if he's the one pulling the strings, the Sister Abigail led Bray to get pushed, right? Now the creature's here. Whatever that creature is, Howdy's controlling that too. So because Howdy came and helped him, that's why. Because he's controlling that beast. That whatever that creature is, whatever that version is completely under Howdy's control. Howdy brought that thing to be, and Howdy helped him win, which was a very, very bad spot. If you watch that from the side, he didn't come close to LA Knight on that elbow drop. It was not close, like not, and I mean that's a dangerous spot the way it is. So that's really hard,
dangerous.
really hard.
Very.
And then there's fire and everything going on down there. That's very difficult. So I certainly am not going to sit here and criticize that. But yeah, he didn't come close, and a lot of people pointed that out too. So we'll dig more into that. But Dom, I appreciate it, man. You're honest. That's why we love you being here. And you know, again, it's great to have a counterpoint. We can't just all sit here and be like, everything was great, because it's not always. It's not always all great. Okay, so,
I don't think the match was great. But I kind of looked at it differently. If I totally understand and respect, Dom's opinion about appealing to the everyday fan,
the wider audience.
And I think the Royal Rumble as a whole did a very good job with that.
Yeah.
But I think this match, as much as we want to see Bray wrestle, and we've been waiting for him to wrestle, I think this match was more about the story than the match.
Okay.
And when I looked at it that way, and yes, I do think they were protecting Bray physically. He hasn't wrestled for 2 years, so not in this large and grand of a show. So I think there were probably a lot of reasons why. I love that picture.
Yes.
There's probably a lot of reasons why the match was lackluster. It was good to see Bray back in the ring. Glad that he's wrestling again. But I think this match was more about the story.
Yeah. Yep. Great point. And I love this. This picture is my favorite picture from the match.
Love it. As soon as I saw that, I was like, damn you, Jason Baker.
Yes. When he turned around after the match was over, we'll get past the match. Let me get quick thoughts from Nicole and Hanzo on the actual match, and then we'll move past that and we'll go to the after match, because a lot of people enjoyed the after match more than they enjoyed the match. So we'll get to the after match, because we'll go from when it went from Bray to whatever this is, because we really don't know yet. So we'll get to that right after that. But Hanzo, what is your opinion on what this match actually ended up being, with the aesthetics and prior to the ending part of it?
So I'll cut it down into a few short points. I thought aesthetic wise, it looked great. Like when he exploded the table, it looked like Predator's blood just splattered everywhere. I was like, that's cool. I think so. That is the first part. Second part, with the performance of the match, it was purely, I think, to protect Bray Windham from any damage, because he looked very rusty, to be fair. Like he didn't really, occasional time he flinched with something, but I think it was just it was a glorified squash match to get out of the way with it, give an easy win, and he's done with it. But I agree with Dom in some aspects. It maybe the men's rumble ran on for too long, or it was the Bray promo showcasing everything that's happened from the very beginning up till right now. You don't need to do that. Just condense into one little ball and that's it. But they ran out of time. They did as well as they could, but it wasn't what we expected. I think people expected a big showcase of like different personas appearing through the match and that sort of stuff. But it was very just like, guys, we ain't got time. Bray pin him and then we're done. It was good, but I don't think it was what we wanted it to be. But it was all right, but it could have been better.
Okay. And Nicole, what did you think of the aesthetics and the actual match?
Well, I do agree with Jodie in a way that I think that they were more focused on the storytelling than the physical part of this match, this pitch black match. But I also agree with Dom in a way that it could have been longer. But I guess I personally enjoyed it. I personally thought it was a good pitch black match. Seeing Bray's attire, well, first we'll talk about his attire. Like his clothes reminded me of like late '90s Undertaker.
Yes,
it was like black leather style, and I thought that was pretty dope. And with the pitch black match, I mean, I do agree with Dom in a way that it could have been better. But Bray always looked amazing. Bray, I guess with his first match, I do understand that he was away for a while, and maybe the next match will be longer, like the physical part. But I guess we'll just have to wait and see what this new character is about, because that's what we're still unsure of who this mask represents.
Yes.
So.
Yeah.
I personally thought it was good, but my only complaint is that it could have been a little bit longer. But other than that, I enjoyed it.
Yep. Okay. All right. The next portion of this will be where we'll get into the theory stuff. Okay. Because that's what's going to mostly be coming out of the end of this match. And like I was saying, the next part of it, of course, I didn't listen. They got me a little bit on this too, because they were showing the ring. It kind of looked like the ring was empty for a little bit. So I thought that was it. And I was really puzzled. And the next thing you know, you see Bray over in the corner. Okay. Reminded me a little bit of Bruce Banner turning into the Hulk there. Turned around in the corner, looked like he was kind of fidgety, and you didn't really know what was going on in the corner until we saw this. Now, that mask to me looks like a half mask. So it looks like it's going around his mouth and the beard, not all the way down. I don't know if it goes to the ears. Some people say it looked like ears were on the mask. I don't know.
There is a bottom to it.
Oh, there is a
because with the mask, it doesn't have a mustache.
It's black.
Oh, yeah, okay. Yeah, you're right.
Black.
Okay. So there's a black piece to it. It looks like it's maybe then white and black, because the white looks blue. Does it have the red in there? I don't know, because that could be the glow paint. So I don't know if that's the way it's going to look. But that is really, really cool. It reminded me, I'm a Star Wars fan. People in the chat can probably tell me if you're Star Wars fans as well. There was a Sith who wore a mask very similar, white on the top, black on the bottom. I don't remember his name. It was from a video game, I think, but you can tell me if you do. But this is what he turned into. Now, when this happened, he changed, very much so. He was very, very, very different at this point. Whatever this was that walked through the door, like Bray said was going to, Knight was terrified, didn't know what he was seeing. Knight went and grabbed that kendo stick that he had earlier in the match, and he started beating Bray with the kendo stick, which did nothing. Anything he did, hit him with that stick 3 times, and he just kept coming. Again, reminded me of a slasher film. Michael Myers, Jason Voorhees, you could not stop him. He was going to get to LA Knight no matter what, and he did. He got to him on the stage where the ladder was. They climbed up, and of course, he gave him the mandible claw, which is the Fiend's finishing move, up on top of that stage. And then we get to the point that Dom was talking about a little earlier. So there's the puppets up in the balcony. You could see on the top right, Ramblin' Rabbit, Huskus, Abby, who looks very creepy, of course, and Mercy. We're all up there standing next to one another in the balcony. You go a little further, and this was after Howdy jumped off of the top with the elbow, the explosions on the side. Again, I like 2 callbacks, okay? One callback was the toolbox. One of what people would say was one of the biggest failures of The Fiend was that match with Seth Rollins in Hell in a Cell. The toolbox came into the ring. He never used it. But I think that might have been put in there maybe to say, yeah, we're getting rid of this. This is going to be behind me now. This was a callback to me to Crown Jewel. When he won the title, because when he did, he threw Seth into that big, humongous box, but it looked just like those boxes that were on the stage, and the flames and the explosions from there, very, very similar to what we saw here. And there you see him standing over LA Knight's feet, crushed in the middle of that stage, sticking out of the bottom. You see him just standing there and just looking. Okay, again, very, very slasher movie-esque to me. And then you can see a little later him, and this was fantastic. Another tribute to Brody Lee when he does the thing with the arms and the fire, of course, in the background. And then that is up close there. Oh, yeah, you guys are absolutely right. You could see the bottom piece.
Yep.
You could see it. It kind of goes over the lips, and then you could see the bottom piece. Okay, so it might be black and white. Maybe, or black, white, and red. You can even see a little, so maybe that makeup on that mask is tribal, will be on that. I really want that mask now, by the way.
That's gonna be another mask we're gonna have to buy.
Yeah, shocker, right?
Merch.
I'm gonna say one thing here, and you guys all read the dirt sheets, you guys all read the news, you guys all read everything. All I was reading today was people downing on this. Everything, every part of it. I get it. And just like I get with Dom, I understand it. Okay. I understand it. I do, though, believe that a lot of the people who watch this match, a lot of people who watch our show in particular, a lot of people who are fans of Bray are big, big horror fans. Okay. This pushed all buttons for me for horror stuff. It did. The stuff with this part, the ending part of it, was I that thrilled with the match? No, I'm just like everybody else. No, it was too short. There's a lot of weird things going on with it. I was not very into the match. This part of it, I loved. And I loved it because of the way that, again, very reminiscent of so many horror films that I've seen. I absolutely loved it. And to that point, I think that what they need to understand, and maybe they need to get this going forward a little bit, like Dom said, and like Jodie reiterated, maybe they just need to understand that not everybody that watches wrestling is going to like horror. And maybe they have to understand that not everybody is going to get it. And not everybody is going to, Undertaker, yes, he was a horror character, but not as much in, more in the lines of a psycho killer like Michael Myers or Jason or any of them, Texas Chainsaw, that kind of thing. He was very different. So we maybe could relate more to that. The fans are going to have a hard time relating to an unstoppable force that is invincible, that cannot be hurt in any way, shape, or form, especially in a wrestling ring, because that's not what wrestling is. But to me, wrestling is entertainment. I take it as entertainment. I don't take it as a sport. I don't take it as the wrestling side of it. You want to watch wrestling? For me, I'd watch college wrestling, because that's wrestling to me. This is entertainment. This is what I like about it, and that's why I enjoyed it. So that's my little piece of it. I'm going to let the theories up to the people on the panel that do the theories. So I've got a bunch of my own, but I'm going to let me go to Jodie, and we're going to get the theories out now for what is this? What is this? Is this, is this a variation of The Fiend? Is this Wyatt 6, something indeed new for Bray? What exactly was this? Obviously, Howdy brought this out. LA Knight pushed it. Howdy pushed it. And this is what we got. The other question is, are we going to see this again? Are we going to see this often? Or is this going to be a once in a blue moon where this only shows up when it has to in certain matches? So I'm going to start with Jodie. Jodie, go ahead. What are your theories going forward with Bray?
So I want you guys to go back to the beginning when the Firefly Funhouse ended. And that last Firefly Funhouse episode that we got from Bray, he talks about the fun, the Funhouse would return. It would be big. It would be bad. It would be strong. And then we see when Bray returns, he walks through a door. And then we see the Funhouse, and it's all dilapidated and cobwebs everywhere, and the music's starting to play up again. But, Bray walks through a door. There's always a door involved in this. And, I think what we're seeing is the other side of the door. I think this is what, kind of like if you're a Stranger Things fan, it's the upside down. It's the negative image of the Funhouse. That's why the puppets look different. That's why Bray is different. That's why sometimes we see those puppets come out of the darkness onto the other side, back into the Funhouse, so to speak, because they've come through the door. Bray opened that door. He was the first one to open that door when he came back because he walked through it. He walked from the light into the darkness. That's what his entrance was when we very first saw him come back at Extreme Rules. So I think what we're seeing is the other side of the door. So me personally, I think this is what the Fiend looks like on the other side of the door. I think without the mask, with the makeup on, and before he put the mask on, that's Uncle Howdy, what he looks like on the other side of the door. And if you watch this particular moment with the mask, he moves very purposefully to go and stand directly under Howdy.
Yeah.
Before he jumps. He goes and makes sure that he stands right in front of it. Directly under Howdy.
That's a great point. Did he not also, or am I imagining this, did he not point up at him?
Mm-hmm. And notice, Uncle Howdy didn't show up until after Bray put this mask on.
Yep.
So when he put this mask on, Howdy essentially came over from the Funhouse side. And so if you look at it, that picture with the puppet.
I'll pull it up. Hold on. There we go.
So you have, this is your Wyatt 6. You have Ramblin' Rabbit. You have Huskus. You have Mercy. You have Abby. You have Howdy. And now you have this other version of the Fiend, which I am going to say this is your Uncle Harper.
Wow.
Okay.
It's always been the Wyatt 6. We're just seeing the other side of the door. We're seeing the upside down. We're seeing the negative image. So that's why the Funhouse came back, I believe, because this is the overall story that we are seeing the other side of the door. And now that door is open. And, when Bray says, you don't know what's going to come through it, we don't, because the door's open. The puppets up here, that's what they look like on the other side, but they can obviously come through now. They can come through. Abby is in limbo because she's in the window. She is literally in the window between those two worlds.
Purgatory.
So said, how long are you? I don't want to be stuck in this limbo anymore, because she's literally in the window.
It's like between heaven and hell. It's purgatory.
Yep. So she is literally in limbo. So I think, and that's why backstage Bray that we saw, he says, I'm just a servant now. I think Howdy is still the puppet master because Howdy is Bray. Howdy. Yeah. So I think Howdy is the puppet master behind all this. And I think things are going to get very, very interesting, but I think that's what Howdy looks like on the other side of the door.
We mentioned that before. I mentioned it earlier, and I knew Jody was going to talk about this with the beard. He does look very much like Howdy. The beard that Howdy has, it's almost to a T, and he even has that same spray paint. When Howdy came out and was revealed in the ring, and we saw the Howdy in the ring, it's got that partial gray and the black in his beard. So, and he did come out and say, "I am Howdy."
Yep,
he did say that. So again. That's a great point. That door that we see open on the stage is that door opening backwards instead of forwards. We saw John
abandoned, but think about it too. In this darkness, Bray talks about this all the time. There's no hope. That sign on that door says, "Abandon all hope, ye who exit here." So I think if we were able to see if there was a poster on the other side of the door, it would say something different.
Yeah.
Abandon all hope, ye who exit here, because you're literally going into the upside down.
That's a good point. And I'm a big Stranger Things fan, and that makes
everything is opposite. Everything is different. Everything is different.
Great stuff. Jody, do you think we see this character again?
Yes.
Anytime soon? Okay.
I think I think that means that all of these characters are going to be at his disposal.
Okay.
Based on what he needs. So I think, yes, I think we will see this character again, because I think it is the Fiend.
Okay.
It's just what the Fiend looks like in hell.
Okay. All right. I'm going to get to everybody else, because I know everybody else is.
Yes, I think this is Uncle Harper.
I know a lot of people were saying that no, because Uncle Harper wouldn't be a bad character, but he did do the trip. He did do the tribute to him. He had the suspenders on as well. So there are things that could point you into thinking that could be the case. They did copyright that. I know someone got into an argument with me about that on our Twitter, saying they would not do that. There's no way they would do that. It would be disrespectful. And Bray said he didn't want to be disrespectful to Harper and stuff like that. So, okay, I get that. I get your point. But you know, I don't know. It certainly, that's what came to my mind too, was that this is the Harper character. I want to get to, let's see, some of the people gave us donations, and thank you very much. It's so hard for me to get up in the chat, but Coaster says, there's a picture of Bray walking up the ramp with the mask off, but I agree, Joe. I love this so much also. What do we think about the song lyric, "Use me for cover," meaning the mask? Coaster had mentioned that. Yeah, that song I think has a lot of pieces to things that are happening in this story. So yes, I would think if you read the lyrics to that song, I think so. All right, I'm going to go to, let me go down to Nicole. Nicole, what are your thoughts on, what are your theories on this part of it? And do you think that this character is something permanent going forward that we're going to see more of?
I do agree with Jody. Everything that Jody says, I'm with her 1,000%. Because if it is, when that door was opened, the minute they opened that door, anything can go through it, and we're seeing the puppets like as a human form. And if you notice, Abby's mask is completely different. It actually looks like Abby. When we first saw it, they showed it was Brody Lee's mask from Extreme Rules, but then they showed that is now that looks more like Abby the Witch from the Funhouse. But back to my point, back to what I was thinking. So I do agree with Jody that this could be like at the Upside Down. Everything is just not only different, but more dangerous. More dangerous. So whatever, if this is possibly Uncle Harper that we're looking at, that we saw at the Royal Rumble, things could get more interesting, and what Uncle Howdy might do if he's the puppet master, but is he controlling Uncle Harper? Could he be possibly controlling Uncle Harper, or is Uncle Harper his own puppet master? I mean, I could be wrong, but
are they gonna work together? Yeah.
Are they gonna work as a team? Who knows?
Good point.
And with Uncle, if we see this mask again, I mean, in my opinion, I personally think that we'll see it in big events like WrestleMania.
Yeah.
We might see it again, and like if he has a big match with somebody, if he does have a match with Uncle Howdy, we might see him again.
Yeah.
But I don't know if we might, if it might be Uncle Howdy. It could be somebody else. But I guess we'll find out. I don't know if we might find out tonight or we might find out on Friday.
Yeah.
But that's how I feel.
Yeah, we're certainly probably going to get some answers on SmackDown, I would think. And a good point about Howdy. A lot of people are saying that the theory is they're going to fight each other at WrestleMania. If that happens, I think Bray will start the match, but he's going to have to bring this guy out to try to win it. Because I don't think.
What if we get Uncle Harper versus Uncle Howdy?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I was.
Yeah. It could be. Yeah.
It's possible.
Okay, let me move on to Dom. Dom, I know we got your ideas on the match. Do you have any theories on what's going forward? I know you said it's it's like a comic book, it's like a movie. Absolutely. Yeah. And this part of it is because we don't know. We're left with we just don't know. So what have you got? Where do you see this going?
Yeah, it's a great question, man. And obviously I love hearing everybody else's viewpoints. I love, the idea that it's that we're in the upside down, that it's a kind of Stranger Things type of vibe. But again, that sort of gives, weight to my point that this needs to be something else. You know what I mean? That we should in a few years' time, we should get a movie or we should get some kind of series, because again, my concern is how this plays out on television with limited time. But I think if we're going with who this is, I think the idea of Uncle Harper really appeals to me. My concern, and me and you, Joe, you and I have talked about this as well. Like, I love I know that you're big into your horror, and I know that you like Jason Voorhees and Michael Myers and all these unstoppable characters. That's awesome, man, and that's great. And I see why you love this, but that's the last thing I want to see. The last thing I want to see is an unstoppable monster that can't be beaten, because it doesn't. Do you know what I mean? Like, if he's unstoppable and then he shows up at WrestleMania to face Uncle Howdy, or they give him another feud with LA Knight, who's going to win that if this guy's unstoppable? And then if he's meant to be unstoppable and he gets beat, we just have the same problem that we had with Seth Rollins and The Fiend. So I'll try and be as short as I can. I don't want to see this guy very often if he's unbeatable, because it doesn't help anybody if he's unbeatable. Do you know what I mean? And all those theories that are online about people going into a Bray feud coming out worse, it gives weight to that. Like, this character needs to be something that is sparing, that only comes out for maybe post-match stuff, like to get vengeance on I don't know, blow people up or whatever. I don't know, bring the flames out like we saw at the end of that. At the end of a match.
I like that idea.
Yeah,
the end of a
match stuff.
Yeah, the end of a match is fine. Yeah, like, that's cool once it's done, whether he wins or loses or whatever. Right. But the problem, and like I said, as soon as LA Knight started hitting the guy, hitting him with kendo sticks, and he just kept walking, I was like, please don't do this too much, because it backs us into a corner with the same problem people had with The Fiend. Do you guys get what I mean?
Yeah, absolutely.
Like that. So for me, I hope we get explanations. I hope we get clarification. I'd have thought that arguably the second biggest pay-per-view of the year would have been the perfect time to do that, but here we are. And we're still waiting for answers. But in short, this character, if it's going to be used, should be used sparingly at the end of matches, rather than him going into matches and being this unstoppable monster that nobody can beat, because nobody benefits from that. So for me, in short, this is in best case scenario, because I saw the tributes to Brody, this is Uncle Harper. This is another story. I also like Jodie's theory that this is the Fiend, but in the upside down kind of thing. But this is, like I say, there's was it Hardy sketch is already working on a comic book. That's what I mean. I want that. I want this. I want all this told in a comic book so that we can really dive deep into the lore, because I love the lore, but it doesn't have the time to be told in such a short period of time, which I think is fundamentally my problem with this thing, is that all these wonderful intricacies that we are debating on this show, because we have the time to do it over an hour and a half. we don't see that on SmackDown and Raw. There's so much effort that's gone into this, so many intricacies that we're pulling out of a 5-minute match. And I just want, I want the art of this story to have its time, to have its platform. But just to finish, in terms of that character and whatever that is, sparing and something for after matches, like that would be really cool. That, like the opponents are scared after the match because they don't know if this thing is going to come and get them. That's cool. But you need to be able to beat him. You need to be able to beat him. Otherwise, we're not, what does anybody win from that? That's my point.
To your point, slashers can be beaten. Jason Voorhees was outwitted. A lot of times they'll beat them at the end of the thing. He always comes back. He doesn't die, but he can be beaten. So that they can work into that where he can lose, but then he just comes back all the time. So they can kind of work it into that way. But I see your point. That's why we have sequels in horror.
Yeah, my other point is all these characters are the villains, right?
Right.
Bray's supposed to be the good guy.
That's true, but you know what though? Even in slasher films, you find yourself rooting for the
We've talked about this. Yeah, we talked. Maybe this is my horror anti-hero I've been waiting for.
Maybe. All right, Hanzo, you're up. What have you got? I think Hanzo's got something a little different than what we've talked about so far.
So I feel like what we saw on Saturday night, Sunday morning. So this is The Fiend. But we was used to a version of The Fiend with the Joker mask and the smile and how he looks. That was the version we wanted to see. This is the version that he wants us to see. So this is the version that he wants people to see what he's really like the white mask version of the smile and the gloves. Yeah, looks awesome. But that's like an image he doesn't want to be. But this is like his true self. Like Bray did say at the Rumble, you will see my rebirth. What if his rebirth was his rebirth? And then now you see him, he's actually like, he looks like a proper bad guy. Like he looks just so freaking awesome. The mask is great and he's doing all this good shit. But also at the same time, like this picture here, he looks like Venom.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, and I've seen it. I was like, okay, that's pretty cool. And like when he's crawling towards LA Knight, it's very Fiend-ish. Like hitting him with a kendo stick and brushing it off, and like the mandible claw. But what got me was, what if Howdy always wanted the Fiend we remember? So he wanted the one that got burnt at Mania or got beaten. So he wanted that version so he can take control of him. But instead, he got the actual version that he does not want. And that's why on the platform, when he's standing above and he looks up at Howdy, he tells Howdy to jump. So what if all this time Howdy's not in charge of that Fiend, but he's not in charge of this one? So this one actually is in charge of Howdy. That's why Howdy, when he looked up and he stood on the ground and he's like, jump, and he jumped in a pit and you saw LA Knight roll over the top of it, and that's why he put his hands out going like that and all the flag going up. So I truly believe that the Fiend we loved for 2 years is dead, and he's like, guys, I'm dead, but the version you're going to see is the version you're going to get used to, because this version you will see on Saturday night is how he is, how I am, and the fact that just you put the mask on, and I assumed when you put the mask on, I was like, oh, we're back to the Fiend, great, wicked. When you turn around, it's like, oh, that's not him. But what if that's the version of the Fiend we're not meant to see, but we've just been awoken to? Or something like that. But that's what I feel.
Yeah,
it's true.
That's fantastic. That's
Very
really
well done.
Yeah, I really like
Yeah,
that.
that's fantastic because that goes back to even Kyle's drawings that him and Bray worked on at the very beginning that we heard about. Like, was the Fiend that they came up with the original version, or was it a secondary? And then the fact that they pushed him. But did they get out from, if Jodie's talking about the upside down, or we're talking about this as hell, did they bring out the right demon that they thought they were going to? Did Howdy bring out the one who he can control, like Hanzo said? Or did they bring out something entirely different? And now nobody can control this guy, which would lead perfectly into a match between him and Howdy. Because now he's controlling Howdy. Howdy now would have to beat this thing in order to regain control of Bray and get the Fiend back that he wants. So, wow, that's really cool.
The wrong one got out.
I really
I
like
wonder
that.
if that's why, interesting that he says that to Alexa too. Like, do you feel in control? Maybe he doesn't feel in control. Howdy doesn't feel in control anymore. So if this is Uncle Harper, maybe Uncle Harper's running things now.
I dig that. That was great. That was well thought out. Really like that. The wrong one got out, says Richie. Great comic material right there. I really like that. I really, really like that. It's a great theory. That's a great theory. All right. Well, we know that Raw is at 8:00. We could sit here and talk to you guys all night, believe me, because there's so much going on. But we want to make sure, because I know a lot of people are going to watch Raw. It's the first Raw after the Rumble. There may be things going on. Nicole alluded to the fact we could even see him on Raw. It's possible. He was on Raw last week. I don't know if that was just a one-off because of the thing with Taker. I don't know, but you never know. So we could see anything happening on this Raw.
It's a possibility.
So, yeah. So, all right. So there you go, guys. Again, I tried to look back up for the people who put donations in. Again, thank you so much. There's so much chat, though. I don't think I'm going to be able to find it. I literally was trying to find the other ones from earlier. Oh, no, wait. Here, we got one here. Here's Negan's. Asked if you're worried about if you're worried about the aftermath, just don't take the mask off. I think this version was for the match, but the mask may stay, says Negan. Let me try to see. I know we had one other one, but I'm going to have to really climb up here to find it.
I think it was one about LA Knight being Ramblin' Rabbit.
Yes.
Oh,
Thank you. Yeah,
I forgot who posted it.
Yeah, I forgot too.
Was it Haley? Haley, was I right?
I think you might be right. Good memory. About LA Knight being Ramblin' Rabbit. Yeah, I mean,
it's possible. That'd be really cool.
That would be really cool. Some people are still saying that there are people. Oh, there's Tazzy in the chat. Didn't even notice. But yeah, that would be cool. Some people are saying wrestlers are portraying him. Ryan Martin's left us a super chat here. I'm excited to see what's next with Alexa, Howdy, and Bray. Bray's gear on Saturday reminded me of a mix of Mankind and The Undertaker. I love his new mask as well. Thank you for the donation. We appreciate that. And thank you for your patience. It's very, very hard to see all this stuff going on. So
you guys are awesome.
Yes.
Yeah.
C Wrestling said LA Knight got me back there. I know C has had some comments too. Yeah, you guys are all awesome for being patient and stuff like that. It's hard to keep up with all the chat, and we appreciate that. All right. We're going to get to the ending segment of our show because we're going to, obviously going from here, we're going to just, we're going to wait and see what happens. We get anything tonight? Definitely, I'm sure we get something on SmackDown. So we'll just keep going.
I think we're going to see a darker Alexa tonight.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I mean, would make a lot of sense.
So because if you remember
Saturday night, I know I was not happy with that match either. I think it was too short.
Yeah,
but if you look at how Alexa looked after that match, she looked just like she did the first time that she encountered this way back when.
Yes.
So I think what we're getting is a rebirth of Alexa. And she's going to have, I know everybody wants her to portray Abby, but Alexa herself was part of the Funhouse with Bray. So I think we're going to see, like this with the Fiend, we're going to see what Alexa looks like in the Upside Down.
Hanzo's donating from that. Hanzo, what are you doing? You don't have to donate. You're in the show, for God's sakes. The door opened and the true he came through. A more sinister version. The fiend we saw is dead, like Bray said in the interview. This is Howdy's abomination. I dig it.
Insane.
I dig
like it.
All right, next up, guys, we're going to go and finish up here, and we're going to go to the Abby's artwork showcase. So we're going to go to the artwork section
Get
of
to see
our
some
show.
badass artwork.
Yes,
Let's
we've
go.
got a lot of stuff here going on, and so we're going to start with this one right here. This is not Bray.
This is not
of
Bray.
course, Cody Rhodes, who was the winner of the Men's Royal Rumble. Jodie just loved this
awesome.
art, so we're sharing it here. Jodie, who is this by?
This is by Tribal Goat on pretty much all social media platforms. And I love his work. He does really, really good stuff. But even though we already knew that Cody was going to win, the story of this is just like, you cannot write a better story.
Yes.
Yep.
It's amazing. And, I said this on Twitter, when I saw that Hell in a Cell match with Seth, my nurse brain went kind of crazy. Earned my respect that night. And after this and seeing his comeback story and how hard he worked to get back and the surgery and all that stuff, as a nurse, after the Rumble, I am a Cody fan. 100%.
Oh yeah,
Absolutely.
it was beautifully done.
So great.
Beautifully done.
So
yeah.
I just had to share it because I thought it was a beautiful, beautiful piece of work.
It is.
Still not the best storyline to come out of the Rumble.
The bloodline, of course.
The bloodline.
Especially the bloodline.
But-
I don't know how they're gonna do this.
Yeah, but it's exciting. But the Cody stuff, man, like it's it is a beautiful thing. They're doing some incredible storytelling at the moment. WWE.
Amazing.
I really do believe that.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Next up, we've got this one here.
Yeah, this is also Tribal Goat. And, I love, obviously, that just looks like Bane. Do you remember that from Batman?
From Batman.
Bane, yeah.
It's so great. I love the highlights of that he did on this one and have the puppets in the background and Howdy in the background. It's just great.
The neon there almost looks like veins. So I see where you're coming from because you saw the veins and stuff when they had that version of Bane. Yep, that's a good one. You see the puppets in the background, Howdy on there as well. Up next is this one.
Oh, I love that one.
This is Hardy Sketch.
Oh, that's nice. Yeah.
Really cool.
Really good at that cartoon, comic.
Yeah,
style.
comic book cartoon style. Yes. Don't
Mhm.
fear the darkness, embrace it. Imagine if that's what he said. That's amazing. We got some stuff from Brittany K, and I know Brittany was in our chat, so this is from Brittany K.
Hey,
So
there you go.
This is Bray with the lantern.
I love it.
Brittany.
That's
And
so
you can
cool.
see the date up
Very
on
cool.
top and Brittany
Very
K. Very nicely done. You can see one of
That's
Alexa
gorgeous.
and Howdy
That's
Yeah.
gorgeous.
with
I
the
like
quote,
that.
"Do you feel
Feel
in
in
charge?"
charge.
So Alexa and Howdy,
Also,
we've got
that mask with Hardy
Yes.
with the red eyes.
yes.
Now we're seeing the red eyes. Maybe that was
Mhm.
That's very true.
Is-
Back to where she was saying that could have been Howdy when Bray was in there because he had the red contacts. Very true. Next up, we've got the Firefly Funhouse Returns, also by Brittany K.
I love that. I love the detail on the tattoo on his hand. It's so
Yeah,
great.
look at the tattoo.
Yeah.
Brittany, you
Like,
are a
tattoos
natural.
on.
This is amazing. I
Even
always
the-
love her stuff.
even the fingernails and stuff like that, the sign
Yeah.
behind him, the
tattoo.
artwork.
Like,
Yeah,
Tattoo. That's what got me on that one.
yeah, that's awesome. We have this.
oh my God, girl.
Seeing that
Yeah.
moment in the ring, the detail there on Taker's tattoos. I mean, good grief.
Calls it the torch. So yeah, that's amazing.
Natural. This is insane.
Very well done by Brittany K. So that's awesome. You could check her out. She's in our community. You could check her out on Twitter. And this is also
Oh my gosh, I saw
Brittany
this
K.
before. This is so cool.
Again, the detail on the tattoos, like
The cult leader, Bray.
yes.
No.
Cult leader
with the
Bray,
hair,
the
yeah.
House
This is
Bray,
from
the
NXT.
Fiend, Howdy, and the Howdy mask. Yes.
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 Love it.
Very, very cool. Very, very cool. Again, look at the tattoos on the Fiend.
mhm.
I love
that's
it.
awesome. Very well
Stunning stuff. Yeah, amazing.
done. Next up here, Jody, this is who? Misty Kayfabe, it looks like on Instagram.
Yep. I just love this one because like it's like separating the faces almost. So you're getting
Yes.
like two different versions of it. I just think that's really creative.
You can see the fangs prominently there too. If you didn't already see
I
the
love
fangs
that.
on that before, so you can see the fangs there as well. Let's go to this one.
Nice.
Another Hurdy
nice.
sketch one. He needs to get on that comic book, man.
Yeah, man. Look at that's what Tom was talking about.
You know
being in a
what?
graphic
You know
novel.
what? Insiders should just sponsor it.
Well,
Hey.
I said I would definitely commission, certainly at least one to see how it would be done. It could be a beautiful thing. That's incredible artwork.
They could entitle the
It's so
comic book
cool.
"The Man in the Woods" would be a perfect title for a graphic novel.
I agree.
Yeah, they really should. I mean, listen, Bray. There are comic book people out there who would work with Bray, no doubt. No doubt that they would. There's comic book companies out there that would definitely look at it for sure. Next one,
Jesse.
Jesse Callan. Is this the one
this
she
is the one
sketched
she
over
did.
dinner?
Yes.
Good Lord.
She sketched this over dinner, like 45 minutes.
I'm lucky I can hold my fork and eat over dinner, let alone doing a drawing like this over dinner. Come
Especially with a
on.
baby. Come on now.
Jesse.
Yeah, that's right. She's a not even a 1-year-old too. Like,
Yep.
good Lord. That's amazing. That's absolutely amazing. Just a sketch.
my
Revel in
goodness.
what you are. CB original design down in the bottom left.
I love that.
Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful.
It's amazing.
I love seeing other
Thank
people's
you.
artwork.
Great.
I love it. I love seeing other
Yeah,
people's
it's
artwork.
so good.
It's a great idea. Yeah, absolutely.
are
You can
so
see the
good.
logo down in the bottom left-hand corner. You can see the
Glowing red
puppets,
eyes.
glowing red eyes, the puppets in the background, the tattoos on
Fireflies
the
in the background.
fireflies in the
That
back.
was another part of my theory. They're not moths.
Oh,
They're
yeah, Joe. Yeah.
fireflies. They're what
Mhm.
fireflies look like on the other side of the door. That I just have to add
Yes.
Yeah, Jody told me last night in the text.
that.
How about this one? Careful of things that go bump in the pitch black.
That's cool.
Hanzo did this, didn't you?
Yeah, I did. Yeah.
Good
You
job,
did this one?
Hanzo. Good
Yep.
job.
Dude, that's amazing.
I love
the,
I love again the detail on the tattoos, like
Yep.
it's and the shirt, like there's so many little details in there.
You can see the
love Bray's
leather
outfit in
straps there very prominently, like the leather
Mhm.
on the arms and the leather strap, and underneath and what that looks like. It almost looks like medieval knights leather armor. If any of you are into
Yeah.
like Dungeons and
Mhm.
Dragons or
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
like Lord of the
Me too.
Rings or anything like that, it kind of
Yep.
looks like medieval armor,
Mhm.
leather armor. So yeah, and I love the wording and the font that's written with. Very,
That's
very
great.
cool.
Very good.
Very cool. All right, guys. Well, we're going to get your final thoughts here and we're going to wrap this up so people can go. I know Dom has a stream coming up. So, Dom, I'm going to let you go first. Thank you again, Dom, for joining us. We always love your thoughts. We love your opinions. Go ahead.
It's actually my night off. Dan usually takes Raw. I might join him for a bit. So what? I'll go join him for the introduction to get him warmed up. But it is a pleasure. It is a pleasure to be here, guys. Thank you so much for being here. And I love hanging out with you guys. And thank you for being patient with me because I know I don't always have the cleanest of opinions about some of the stuff. So
we can all have different opinions. You know what, Dom? We can all have different opinions, and yet we can all be okay.
And here's what I love about you, Dom. You're respectful about it.
Yes.
Like you're so cool with, you're how everybody in the world should be.
Exactly.
You have your own opinions, but you respect everybody else's as well.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Like there's no hate there. There's no animosity. It's just, I love you anyway. Like we can think whatever we want. Like that's how everybody on this planet should be.
That's
great.
None of you guys are dicks, so it's easy to get on with you. You guys are all cool. The chat is all cool, and I really appreciate it. But yeah, guys, good evening, and I'll see you guys next week for sure.
We'll see you next week.
Take it
See
easy,
you next
Don.
week,
Dom.
guys. Bye.
Absolutely. Take care.
Yeah.
See you later. All right, we'll go to Hanzo. Hanzo, final thoughts.
I feel like the story's just getting started.
I agree.
Just getting started. What we saw Saturday, this new version of the thing that we're meant to see, and the version that we was supposed to see. This is the version we're meant to see, and I feel like he will be a bit more prominent, but he won't be as prominent as before. I feel like he will switch between personas, different personas. I feel like this version of I'm gonna call him the Dark Lord because he looks very dark. And
Sure.
Voldemort. There you go.
Yeah.
Just call him Voldemort.
This version of the Fiendish, I feel like will be the one that will help him get that push, because with Taker's blessing and with this new persona and everything else that's happened, I can't see anything else but just him going straight up. Like, granted, keep away from the titles by all means.
Yeah. Agreed.
Yeah.
But the next feud with someone like Seth, feud with someone like Cody.
I think it's going to be Miz.
Yeah,
Could be. Could be the Miz.
That's going to be cool.
Could be.
this could
Sure.
work. I mean,
Because he's another big mouth.
yeah, another
There you
big
go.
man put a hand in.
Exactly.
There you go. Well, thank you, Hanzo, for joining us. We really appreciate that. All right, let me go to Nicole. Nicole, final thoughts from you.
Well, this is just like what Hanzo said. It's the beginning of a new chapter that I'm really looking forward to seeing.
Yep.
Especially with the new mask. We still haven't seen yet the introduction of what this character of the mask, but I think we all have an idea of who this is, especially when he went that. So I'm really looking forward to it.
Yes, absolutely. My final thoughts are really, really simple. And Jodie alluded to this with the conversation with Dom. Guys, just remember, everybody likes different things for different reasons.
Yep.
That's why I posted what I did today, because I like things for what I like them for.
Mhm.
Other people like things for what they like them for. And other people just don't like things at all. And that's okay. But like Jodie said, if posting your opinions on social media is fantastic, but just remember, be respectful, and say things that are respectful to others, because you just never know. Somebody might be really excited about something, post something up there that might make their day just to get some nice words and have somebody say, "Wow, that's really cool." I get that all the time on Insiders, and it's a wonderful thing. So just be respectful, because everybody watches wrestling for different reasons and for different types of entertainment. So just be respectful of one another and be kind, like I say at the end of every show. Go ahead, Jodie, close us out.
Take us home.
Oh man. Yeah, like I love, our dynamic that we have on this channel, that we can have people that have different opinions, and but at the end of the day, we all love Bray, and we may not like a direction or something that's going on with it, and but at the end of the day, it's about loving Bray, and that's something that we all have in common with each other. So, and I know that there are times when things get heavy and snippy, and people, I think that's just how social media is now. I think everybody thinks I think they've taken this freedom of speech thing a little bit too far,
Be
that
poisonous at times.
they can put other people down. I'll give you guys a perfect example. As much fun as I had over the weekend, I had some drinks while I was at the show, and my friend that I was with doesn't drink at all. And we were talking at the airport on the way home, and she mentioned something about me being really more boisterous when I've had a couple of drinks. And she doesn't want to be around me when I'm like that. And it just took the wind out of my sails. Like there was no reason to say that. Like I know that she loves me, and she's my friend, and all of that stuff. So, but it took the wind out of that sail over the weekend. Yeah, I know that when I drink, everybody gets a little bit more boisterous and loud when they drink. Everybody's like that, but let people enjoy what they enjoy, and don't take the wind out of their sails.
Yeah, like I said, guys, just it's not hard to be kind. And I get it. Everybody has bad days.
Like,
Everybody,
right.
hell, Jody will attest. There have been times when I've responded to people on Twitter, and I'm kind of nasty sometimes too. And a lot of that
Oh
is
my
because
gosh. There's times me and you, Joe, have been nasty to
Mhm.
each other. Like
a lot of times it's just because one of us might be having a bad day. I might have some other things going on. And you know what? One of the things that, and Jeff goes back to this, so I'll just quote him before we get out of here. But Jeff goes back to this comment that Herman Edwards, a great coach in football, used to say, think before you hit that send button.
Yep.
Stop and give yourself a few seconds to think before you hit that send button. It's very true, because a lot of times you're doing it as a it's like boom, and you just do it, and you don't think of what you're going to get out there. You don't think of how you could be hurting that other person that might just be looking for a kind word. So again, I'm proud that our channel does this. I'm proud that we have all of you. I'm proud that we have all the people in the chat. I'm proud of who we work with here, and I'm proud of what we do. And I really, honestly think that that's what differs us from other channels that are out there. So
Exactly.
thank you guys all for joining us. I know you want to get out of here. It's Raw time. Go enjoy Raw, and we will see you all on the next episode of Abby's Window. Join us Thursday. Jeff will return for Impact Wrestling. Come out and say hi to Jeff.
Thank you, Concho, for that donation. That's
Yes.
amazing.
Oh my goodness.
Oh yes, I didn't even see that.
you.
Wow, thank you very much. Yeah, that's wow, that's crazy. Thank you so much for that. And yes, come out and see Jeff on Impact. We'll be back for SmackDown on Friday to see what develops. And I think Jeff and I will be back then on Sunday as well for our Sunday show. So come check us out. From Hanzo, and of course from Nicole, and of course Jody. Take care, everybody, and have a great rest of your night. We'll talk to you soon.
Bye.
So what do you say? You want to see my secret?